All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Next in Line. Today, I have somebody I've been looking forward to speaking to for a little while now. We had an excellent prep call, but forgive me. I'm going to just, in case I don't pronounce it
That's
correctly.
okay.
Domenic
Last name is DiLullo. I'll make it easy,
DiLullo.
to make it easier for you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Any AKA, like
No
double D,
AKAs, no pseudonyms or aliases or family heirloom names like that. But just you can call me Dom or Dominic is totally fine. It's easier that way.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
For our
So
listeners.
somewhere in the white and the black, you can call me Father Dom if you want
Father
to.
Dom.
It's okay.
I love it.
Okay.
So Dom is actually, he's a CIO of Broward County here in South Florida, and been looking forward to this for a while.
Yeah, me too.
And people, I have to start saying this too, because a lot of people see the title of CIO, right? But they don't really ever really kind of understand the responsibility, tech initiatives, and get to hear the journey behind the title.
Yeah.
And that's big to me. And that's what the kind of the motivation and the persona of our podcast is about, getting to know, how do you get there?
Yeah.
The journey. And then through that, when we start talking about this stuff, that's where, to me, where the nuggets live.
Yeah.
Paying it forward. And cause you never know, we have a vast audience, it's a big IT workforce from, kids that just got their CS degree, they're trying to get into the door into the industry.
Sure.
We have folks that just got promoted or just got that tap on the shoulder to be a CIO. So I like taking through the full journey, because you never know what you may mention that may resonate with somebody.
Yeah. When we had our prep call, the first part of our conversation was about the arc. And I went back after our call, went back to my old journal to figure out where I actually started from.
All right.
And we shared this on the prep call. We had a panel conversation through the International Association of Privacy Professionals like 7 or 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And on that panel was, what do you need to be a privacy professional? And I was the security person sitting with chief privacy officers for like corporations and banks and companies. And I was the one who liked to be on both sides of the aisle from security and privacy. And someone asked the question, what was your journey like to get to this position, basically? And I made us remember our conversation. So my arc is really unique. So my dream job actually was to be a sports producer. I went to college to be a communications major. I did technical work for the school. I did play-by-play radio for our Division II college team for a while. I interned in Washington, D.C. For a small news media company. Didn't have a local, like an ABC or NBC or CBS presence.
Okay.
So all the interns would be manned and actually would take cameras out to like the Senate building or the White House. And this was during the Clinton administration at that time. So it was really cool. Someone young who was trying to break into media at that time to get a chance to do this kind of things. And you get a chance to see, wow, how can I break into media at that point? So, going through college, great, awesome to be a sports producer. And the next guy behind the scenes at CBS or soon to be ESPN at that time, basically. And when my graduation happened, and, it's a very heavy union job. So there weren't that many jobs out there for someone out of college that didn't know anything about technical media to break into that industry. And so I was fortunate enough to get it to my first real technical job as a security auditor.
Okay.
And that was really interesting because I think when I met people for the first time, they said, what's the best way to learn tech? And my career as an auditor taught me the 30,000 foot view of how to look at technology from a practical perspective. Being an auditor, no one likes auditors because you write bad reports and you're not their favorite person. You're here to ask questions. Why are you asking this question? And why are you poking this? Why are you poking that? Don't write a report so bad. What word? Why'd you use that word over that word? And it's a negotiation. But what it teaches you is how it moves from one endpoint to the next, how infrastructure is set up. You get access to policies and procedures, configuration settings. You learn technical questions. You get to ask people, tell me how you did this situation. Why did you build it X over versus Y? And you get to learn, you get to understand, you get to think in certain ways. And that was a good several years career. And I did that for a small company up in North Carolina.
Okay.
And I was actually a tier 2 help desk technician. I was on a second hour shift from like 4 to midnight for remote desktop supporting a contractor in Memphis, Tennessee. So the traders who could not trade after hours, if AT&T figured it down, we're getting the phone calls, what's going on? Somebody either cut a fiber or digged up something, prematurely. So that was a fun time. I worked for Cisco in the early 90s up in North Carolina. So those 2 years, got to sell technology to federal customers. And of course, when the dot-com era bursted, I was fortunate enough to find an opportunity in Northern Virginia working for EDS at that time, old Ross Perot company.
Yes.
So doing ticketing and revenuing stuff and troubleshooting stuff. And when you're behind the scenes, you're looking with people, you're working with tech, you're looking with the installations, the traders, the installation, the technicians, and learning certain things. And that's where I got my first really take into more into technology. And of course, when 9/11 happened, I was there, and when EDS was the first point for that. So got my first foray into technology on the defense side. So I spent many years in Virginia working for 3 agencies. Was never really a CIO still. Was more like an auditor, policy person, security analyst, security architect, policy implementator, doing a lot of that old certification accreditation work as part of a big thing that contractors had.
Sure.
And then fast forward later on, get to go back out to a consulting company, get to go to Chicago for a while. Did some work for Deloitte and Accenture, and I'm sorry, Accenture. Sorry, Accenture was my really first job way back. But Deloitte and Accenture going to, companies outside of Chicago, being on site, being that traveling consultant. So Sunday planes, you're leaving Sunday, you're coming back on a Thursday night, that rotation for a while. But always between, years in Chicago, years in DC, still not in the C-level role yet, still doing policy procedures, responses to contracts, being on a contractual program. And then I think I really got more into the next level role when I first got to Chicago working for Allstate. I was their first director of BSOs. I got to get access to 17 unicorn companies. And this is where the leadership started coming in. I'm actually hiring staff. I'm reviewing promotions. I'm reviewing compensation plans and building strategies. And that was a great 3-year run. And then I got the chance to go after the 2019 comes around. This is at that time I was married at the time, so we got to move to Sweden. Got to work for a car company, Volvo Cars, for 3 years. Still doing technology.
Sure.
Got to do technology and privacy work for a while, but still not at the C level yet. Still around the margins. And so 3.5 years passed. We're still in Sweden. So we talked to some friends back here in the States saying, where do we want to go next, right? And so we looked at maybe going back to, Chicago, maybe back to DC. Florida wasn't on the radar.
No.
So a friend of mine who lived here, we reached out, we asked, hey, what do you know in this area out of curiosity? He said, send us your CVs and we'll make some calls for you. Great. So I'm coming home from work one day. It's like 3:00 Swedish time, 9:00 US time. I get a phone call from a number I don't recognize of Florida. So it goes to voicemail. Check the next day, it turned out it was the former Secretary of DEO, Mr. Dean Agel, who wanted me to be his Chief Technology Officer here at the Department of Florida. Great opportunity. And then the question will be asked, it's a huge risk. For me, it was a 6-step up in my career. So that was the first opportunity to be in a C-level suite. So, how often do those come around, right? So I took the opportunity and jumped on that, spent a great 2.5 years at the state of Florida. And now I got down to here at Department of Broward County, been there now 2.5 years. So, television guy, policy guy, auditor, play-by-play guy in sports. If I go back and listen to myself, I probably go, why did I call a play like that or give an analysis like that? I'm like, and I still do it today, watching games. I'm like, come on, get in the slot, get that guy, cover over.
You're a play-by-play football guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Division II, so it's not really, it was fun. It was fun to do. But the arc wasn't traditional arc. You go from a guy who wanted to be in sports and media to an auditor, to a policy person, to a privacy person, to security and data, a director of Allstate, and then jump way up the food chain to be in a C level. And that's kind of where I've been the last 4.5, 5 years. So it's a unique arc. I'm sure many people and my peers in the career have something unique to their own, but it truly is one of the arcs that I've never thought I would be in this position. It wasn't a job I was looking for.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So you just, wow. So let me ask you, so when you're in Sweden and you got the first time, to be a CTO, were you in Tallahassee?
No, I was in Gothenburg. I'm sorry. I was in Tallahassee. Yes, I apologize. Oh, okay. Yes, I apologize.
So you're right. That's like, DC for us.
Yeah. No, right? It was a fun time. It was right after COVID. So we were living, of course, a part of me wish was COVID didn't happen, but it is what it is, and it's unfortunate. And a lot of friends of ours, we live in Chicago, we lost some friendships over the last 2 years because they were just different time for people. And Sweden was a different culture. We didn't have the massive lockdowns. So the kids went to school. We did have our social distancing that we had there, but it was a different way of doing things, but still though, I mean, going from that culture back to the United States and being a CTO for the first time was a really amazing opportunity, but man, it was a crash course. Massive crash course.
Quick one, right?
Quick one, yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's a great story. I mean, I have to take it back a little bit.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So I love sports. I love this stuff. So I got to ask you, and something that I think though, you mentioned I started as sports and communications, right?
Yeah.
But how important, I mean, there's silver linings all over the place.
Yeah.
Communication, skills and media and all that kind of stuff. How much did that carry you through?
It's a great question because I had to think about and reflect when we realized our prep call. I've been still learning. That person back then is a very different person now. You're so amped up. You're so enthusiastic. You're talking at like 1,000 words per second. I still do that from time to time. And I have to remind myself there's a different audience now. You have to, regulate emotionally your emotions, your senses, your speech, your cadence. You cadence up and down. But I think the communication continues to evolve. I'm still learning. I'm not a finished product by no stretch of the imagination. I don't think I ever will be. And that's a good thing because I have a huge palette to continue to learn. But just because I was in media as a kid, if I had to go back and tell myself then, do it this way because it's going to serve you better, because there's a lot of things I learned over the course of the years that I go back to and go, man, that way I spoke or that way I presented, that way I was trying to connect is very different than I am today, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. But actually, I think it would be kind of cool to hear. Imagine giving an update around IT on a play-by-play basis.
People don't, and it's funny.
I would love it.
I thought, I'm a huge hockey guy. So we grew up as hockey kids. I played hockey. My cousin played hockey. My brother played hockey. I played goalie and wing. So the fall season coming up for me, NHL, NFL, college football, Sundays, I'm on the couch for 12 hours, pretty much.
You ever find yourself calling games?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So who's your team?
I'm from Pittsburgh originally, so I'm a huge Steelers fan. So sorry out to those who are not Steelers fans that are out there. But when I'm here in Florida, I stay true to the roots. Congrats to the Panthers. They won 2. Awesome. Well deserved. I hope they win it again this year. They're locked and loaded, but I'm a diehard Pens fan. So yeah, I know I don't break allegiance. I kind of stay true.
Pittsburgh fans are super loyal.
We're very loyal.
Yeah. Who is the biggest rivalry? I got to ask. I go off script a little bit.
For us in football football, Baltimore.
That's a fist fight.
It's a fist fight.
That is
always been. Ravens Steelers is like it's must see television.
Oh, for sure. Remember Ray Lewis versus
the game last year was like probably the most eclectic game I ever seen. The wide right kick. That was just the greatest game I ever saw. To get to win the division, to get to the playoffs, because it was a winner take all game, and I felt bad for the kicker for Baltimore. I really did, because that kid was just like, tough. But
it's tough to be that.
Tough to be there. Yeah,
a lot of pressure. So you know about the sports. You know how hard it is, and at that level,
Yeah.
Well, no, this is great. I love that. I think that's pretty cool that you did that. So
thank you.
Let's say you said your first for CIO wasn't about technology.
Correct.
You shared a lot about people, which I want to dig into that a little bit.
Absolutely.
So when you first became that CTO, what was like, did anybody hand you a playbook, or did you kind of figure this out yourself?
I had to. So at that time, I was kind of airlifted in. It was unemployment insurance. There's a core mission. And if I had to go back and replay it again, I would learn the people more. And that was my mistake. I learned that I had to know the people, know the talent. I was singly focused on solving a mission for what the governor gave to the secretary to get something fixed. So singularly focused on that. Talk with the people, try to get consensus.
Sure.
If I could replay those 2 years, the first 3 months would be learning the people, the process, what's working, what's not working. But I'm thankful for that. And I think one of the things we have in our conversation was about failures.
Yes, sir.
I want the failures. I want those failures because that's how I learn better. Because if I don't have any failures in life, I have nothing to go back to and say, what did I learn in that mistake? It's okay to fail. I'm a big fan of that. I tell my teams, do not worry about failure. I want you to understand what didn't go right. What can you do better? No one's going to be punished for a failure. Absolutely not. Do not worry about that. But I brought a different mindset when I got down to Broward, because my boss, my ex-CIO, was a very big on leadership and people.
Okay.
And he took me by the hand and basically said, you're going to spend the next 6 months learning every individual in this organization. Read all the performance reviews, all their Hogan 360s, their leadership tendencies, what works, what doesn't work. So I became a personal relationship with them because I need to work them for me. They have to deliver for the county.
Sure.
And they need to see I'm vulnerable and want to get to know them on a personal, because my job as a leader is to take care of the staff that I have, promote them, make them better, make them excel.
Yep.
And if they don't know that I'm with them in the trenches, then it's hard to have that connection, that trust. So that whole first year was nothing about deliverables, nothing about tech. Who are you? What did you do in the county? What works for you? What haven't you gotten? And you get a lot of very good stories about past practices. The previous CIOs had a closed door policy. That individual may have separations or favoritisms or groups she liked over others or groups that he liked over others, the interactions. That was a whole first year. And then what we built with our learning and management director team at the county was to build a trust principle model. So every year I do a survey on my tenure, 12 questions. A couple questions I'll highlight. What is it that you got in this year that you didn't get the year before? What can we do better for you as a leader in the county? What tools do you need to be better in your job? Those are 3 questions we ask every single. That's our value proposition, basically. And from there, I asked them to rank me. And they do that. And I take that very seriously.
Yes.
And then one thing I also do is every day, it's a message of the day. Simple. Never done this in my entire career. This is something I never did in the past jobs, even as a director of BSO, never done this. So every day I'll find a motivational message or a fun message. Hey, when soccer happens, it's World Cup, or when the Hurricanes were going all through their run, Victory Monday. I know I have Miami fans in my group. I know I have Argentinian soccer player lovers. I have Portugal players. So I have to tailor the messages. And within the first 6 months of these little messages going out, there was a change, a shift. Now again, you're never going to get everybody in the group to be on your side, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But there's a trust, there's a shift in behavior. It takes time. You have to work at it. You have to put your own personal capital into it, because it's not about, we can deliver a project pretty easily. I can come to you and say, hey, we're going to build you this great world-class cloud-based application. It's got all the agentic bells and whistles out there. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
But this is the A team you're going to get, and I trust this A team. Yeah. And these ones will deliver because they have the temperament. They're cool to work with. They're fun. They don't have abrasive personalities. They're going to make things work for you. They always find a solution to a problem.
That's great.
And their feedback was like, we never had this transparency before.
No.
Nothing like that. Wow. And so it's been fun to watch that as a leader for me, because no one coached me on this. I just decided to do this myself, and it's worked well. Now, you can read all the leadership books and, find the friends you have and learn these things. But at the end of the day, I just made it my own simple decision. Today's day is going to be this. And every Wednesday, of course, it's the humpback day. So I have to find a fun camel image about, and people love that. It's the littlest things. During World Cup, we found a picture of a Messi, shirt on a camel on a beach. So again, these little things, it makes people want to come to work.
Yeah.
I believe in that because people have their families, they have their lives. And I walk around the floor. I mean, my boss was a huge fan of just go walk around, sit in their cubicles, talk to them.
So you're not behind the desk. You probably can't find you unless you're in a meeting.
In a meeting. And the door is always open. Now, if I'm in my desk all day, there's a lot of things going on, but people walk into my office and they just talk. And it's a great thing. Now, personally, it takes a lot of time and capital because you're listening to their challenges, but that's important. That's the job I signed up for, basically.
Wow. I mean, so you mentioned that you did that for the first year. When did you start seeing a turn? Like how long? Like, is it 3 months, 6 months? It
took about a year because the culture that I inherited was promotionally kind of like distraught, disheveled. The perception was they can't do anything right. And that was because the culture of leadership would set that tone. So it's a re-education of what my organization does for the county, who we are, what we do, how we do services.
Yeah.
And it's resonated. You have to put that time into it. For me, that first year was all about the critical component of the people. There are days where I was emotionally spent because you're so heavily invested in the people to be successful.
Yeah.
And the ones that want to be part of that new train, they'll buy in. The ones that don't, who they are. And Eventually they leave or retire and go somewhere else because that train has ended. And I had to make some changes. I had to change the organization structure. I had to move people around. I had to realign certain things. With anybody coming in, I was always like, what's this person going to do?
For sure.
How are they going to interact? What's my job going to be like? And I made it very clear day one is you run your teams. I'm not a micromanager. I want you to be successful. You have my full support. The only ask is you make me aware.
Yeah.
We coach. I'm involved behind the scenes, but I trust you to lead. And that was a huge shift for people.
Yeah.
Because the first question would be like, well, this is how we do it in the past. And we would say, that was yesterday. This is today.
Yeah.
So it took a year for that to kind of grip in. And now it's there by default. But I still have to reinforce it. It's a never ending process. It doesn't stop. Right? It never stops. So, and then, again, I've been called out. Hey, you missed your message today, Dominic. I did. Thank you for that. Let me get it out right now.
That's cool that they actually, they look forward. That means they're looking forward to it.
They look forward to it.
So, I love this conversation. So like, I look at, because I know you love sports, I love football.
Oh yeah.
So like, let's talk like a head coach.
Yeah.
You're coming in, you're looking at who's your defense, who's your offense. You're looking at your player. Are you circling players? Okay. Keeper.
It's an interesting analogy. More of as a general manager.
Okay. So you're more the GM.
The GM, but I'm also a head coach because I'm in the field with him, or I should say, no, I'm a player. I put myself in a player coach, player, GM, owner, coach, right?
Jerry Jones.
I don't have Jerry Jones money, unfortunately, so I can't talk like him. But that guy's great.
Yeah, he owns it.
He owns it, man. Hey, look, if you're an owner of a team, you can do whatever you want, man. Yes, sir. You want to buy a company? No problem, sir. Just what rules do I have to support this?
More power to him.
But I'm more of a hands-on type person. I like to be in the trenches and with the projects because it shows the team that I'm in the fight with them.
Couldn't agree with you more.
And
you're frontlining with them.
I'm frontlining with them. We own it together. But there is a little bit of I put myself on some skis out there. I put myself vulnerable, but that's the job I have, right? If you remember the days of Dungeons and Dragons, right? Mm-hmm. The Palantir is the person that goes out into the field, no matter what the condition is. I will fight. I will be the first one. I'm going to rush to take on that defense that's coming at me.
Yeah.
That's how I operate.
I got to imagine
protect the people, but they also have a chance to speak. They have their voice. So when we have conversations or vendor meetings or discussions or we're presenting, I let them speak. Like if I go to a county admin meeting or an agenda meeting, you guys get to speak. You get to shine.
It wasn't like that before.
No. They had no say.
You give them a voice. You give them the opportunity to have a voice. That's awesome.
But there's risk with that too, though, as well, because I mean, everything we do, there's like remember the scene from the second Matrix, causality, cause and effect, the Frenchman. Everything we do has a cause and effect, right? So we try to do things right that has the most optimal effect, and sometimes you don't get that.
Yeah.
But it's a learned thing. If I go to a meeting with my bosses and we're doing an update on a project, I let the project teams talk. It's they're the ones that has it. I know where it's at if they have other questions, but they are in those positions for a reason. We hired you to do the certain thing. So like I said, it's been 2.5 years. It's not a finished product. It takes time. When we hire people, our value is ownership and responsibility and accountability. And that falls to me too, because I have said, that's on me. I've messed up.
You own it.
I own it. And I expect people to own it too as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes for those who never really owned it, it's been difficult.
Oh yeah.
Because you do have the ones that say, well, that wasn't my fault. I didn't get this. It was a delay. Nope. We're on the team. We do it together. We fail together. We own it together, basically.
It's hard to get that across. It's, everybody.
Yeah.
Right? But if you get the majority, you're in good shape.
Well, yeah. But the funny part of the majority was like in Sweden, the culture of work there was very different. So
I'm not familiar with that.
So it's a very consensus-driven country. So I thought, my first year there, if I had 60% of the room, I've got majority, right? Mm-hmm. No. You need 100% of the room in the yes or no. So they call it the rubber band effect. So you have to go out, come back, go out and come back, go out and come back and learn, give them the chance to have the voice. Whether they say yes or no, if you still have over 60%, you still get the win, though. But it was a very consensus-driven thing. And that's what I've learned, I think, at the county too, is that it's the bring them along. It's the consensus story. And And I'm an imperfect person when it comes to that because, telling your story and being artful in your presentations it takes time and practice.
Mm-hmm.
And by no means am I perfect at it. So there are days where I fumble and I go, oh my God, why did I do it that way? Or why did I say this that way?
Mm-hmm.
And you're always, you come back, you reflect, you go, I could do this better. And what can I do to be better next time around? But it was a different culture. You go from very consensus driven to majority or different ways of doing things. So you're always moving around trying to find the right balance to get decisions to get approved, basically.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that. I mean, I like the way you explained that to me too. I wasn't aware, like,
we're all over the place with these questions.
yeah, no, that's what's great about it. Cause it's like, there's no scripts. We just have a lot of fun. And we dig into stuff.
Are we going to do our own riff right now?
I love that. So you mentioned, I want to talk to you a little about this question you referenced to me, like, talk to me like a golden retriever.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. When you mentioned that movie, Margin Call, I was like, dude, I must have watched that probably like 6 times.
I want to watch again this weekend. I actually am, because I think it's great.
It's super good.
Yep.
It's super good. So can you elaborate a little bit about that? Can you share like a real example?
Yeah. I can give you a couple examples. I mean, I think just this past week alone on artificial intelligence, explaining to our people that there's different layers and models and versions you have to do. It's not just buying the license. It's what is that license going to do for you? You're looking to do search or reasoning or presentations or responding to an email or doing a documentation. There's this level of capability you have to do. And it's down to the most basic Germanic level. Column A, if I want to do email, Outlook, PowerPoints, presentations, this is the model you take. If I want to do deep research or analysis or thought processes, this one here. It has to be in a way where you really synthesize it down to the most basic fundamental thing. And that is true, because if you make it so complex with like, well, here's the return on investment, here's the output that you save, here's the hours saved, you go back in your mind, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And I think people are starting to come to that rationalization now. Is like, don't be so overly technical in your jargon. Make it as an outcome. And the example I'll give is when I was talking to some of my colleagues and our customers, if something doesn't happen, if I can't get X, the impact is Y. Let's say, for example, I don't get a particular piece of technology that will increase a data storage.
Okay.
The impact is, hey, that data you have is now at risk. So I would try to make it a personal attachment with a real outcome. There's an outcome here now that impacts you.
Yeah.
And if you can try to create in a way that's not, that's hard to do sometimes, but you have to find the ways to make that connection. And when you can make that connection value, people will be more in tune to say, yeah, I get that.
Yep.
It takes time, because you're educating a 5,500 workforce that's not used to these new things. So you have to make it relatable.
Absolutely.
So we all know about Google prompting. Now it's AI prompting.
Yeah.
This is what you have to do. So it's basically at that level. Here's a model you chose. Mr. User, are you going to use it for email? Great. This is the model you pick. This is the reasoning model you choose. What's the next thing you want to do? Oh, you want to do some research. Great. This is the one you pick. This is the one you pick. It's almost like A, B, A, B, A, B.
Have to
do it. And it's great, because even in presentations now, we're trying to make it at that level.
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk our dog down the street. Our dog's going to look for something to eat. And the other analogy I'll use, even simpler for a golden retriever, is on security products.
Okay.
I tell my team, okay, let's do this presentation model. We have a house. The house is built, but the front door is missing. Why is that? We don't have any defense protections to block people coming in. So everybody can come walking in here, Mr. So-and-so. You wouldn't want that. They're going to come in, sit on your couch, watch your TV, go to the refrigerator. You want a door there to see who's coming, so you can say, yep, I trust that person to come in. Oh, they're a friend of mine. I know that individual well. So we try to make things relatable. It's hard, because you have to find these things to go, oh, okay, today we're going to do a park or something else. So we're trying that. We're experimenting. It's a new thing for us.
Let me tell you, storytelling is an art.
it's
and
hard.
It's effective.
It's effective, and I'm not always the best storyteller because
I think you're pretty humble, brother.
I'm just reality because I grew up. My dad was a retired bus driver. Didn't go to college.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only kid that went to college. Both my mom and my brother passed many years ago from cancer. So
sorry to hear about
it's no, it's great. Many years ago. It's it humbles you because
absolutely
you got that blue collar mentality that you grew up with. So it's hard, to it's not hard. It's more of how do you do it in a way that doesn't become bearing and you become the center of the story. It's about them, right? You have to change that story around saying, here's the impact to you. Here's how we can make it better for you. So if you want that roof on the house to protect you from the hot heat or the rain or the snow or the hurricane is coming, we need these things to protect that situation for you so you have a safe roof over your house so you can sleep well at night. Something like that, right?
Oh.
It sounds trivial, but it's effective.
It's super because it may resonate, with the auditor. But I think that's to me, like the blue collar and, coming into this is, I grew up similar. So very same way. And I think it's a strength.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a weakness, man. EQ is big, brother. EQ, IQ.
EQ, IQ. But one thing on that, and that's something that one thing you've asked me in the past about, things that you learn as a leader. And I think, friendship is more important as well as being a leader, but it's in the emotional regulation. And sometimes, as me personally, I can get very passionate and can take things personally because I want the best for the things. My job is we solve problems. And if I can't solve that problem, did I fail? Or is this an opportunity to get better going on? So I think, as we talk more about, opportunities, people who want to be CIO, there's some things I want to share about that too as well.
You beat me to the punch.
Okay.
I love this question. I love that you're,
okay.
I'm looking forward to this one. So,
all right.
Let's take it back. Let's say when you first got that tap on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, somebody just now gets that tap on the shoulder. You've been through it. You've been in the game for a little while. What advice would you give them first 90 days, a year?
Yeah.
What are you giving them?
If they're right out of college?
No, this tap on the shoulder.
Tap on the shoulder would be the CIO.
Like they've already been in the industry a little bit.
So I think it depends on where they're going into, first of all. If it's an organization that's reputable or well known, but I think the first thing is go back to what we said before. Who are the people? What's the culture? How do they operate? How do they treat each other around the organization? Are they collegial? Are they collaborative? Is it a group that is going to be welcoming?
Yeah.
Or do you have to work to earn that trust? Which you have to coming in. You're a new person coming in. You have to earn that respect, earn that trust. And I think you have to be, I'll call it, you need to be emotionally humbled. You have to give yourself the ability to learn. You're hired for X, but you don't know all the ins and outs and dynamics that you're walking into. Ask the questions. Take people out to lunch, bring them to your meeting, get to know them, say hi, I'm new here. What has made you successful here? Who should I talk to next? Give me some ideas to go talk to. And I haven't done this much in my career. I've had to be on the fly. Every job I've had has been like quick, get things done.
Is it like a rescue?
It's a rescue mission, or you're being dropped in to fix a problem. You're a problem solver. So
Right.
I've had those short stints where for me, it's like, I have a singular mission, so I know I have a finish line already defined for me.
Yeah.
But for someone who's been tapped, and I want to change that for me because I want to stay somewhere long term and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm having a blast at it.
That's great.
But I think I would tell my previous past self, get the time to understand the people. Get to know your immediate circle. Don't do dinners with your bosses, but ask questions, a coffee, get together, stuff like that. And then from there, let them reach out to you. If you build that kind of trust and camaraderie, but deliver really good work, be practical. Not everybody's going to like you the first time. You don't have to don't look for being liked by everybody. It's okay to be respected.
Yes.
Have that. Don't try to ask to be the top savior. Don't ask to be in every clique or group. Learn that culture. Find ways to be in there and just be courageously curious.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask questions and don't be afraid to be humble. That will serve you well. But I think also find the right person who knows the company better than anybody else, who knows the processes better than anybody else, so that you can learn that way. That way you understand how decisions are made in the organization and where you have to intersect yourself or learn or lean back. And that takes a while.
Sure.
Don't give, I'll give you a good example of how we did it at our county.
Mm-hmm.
I had a gentleman a year ago, and the first thing I told him was, you get no manager responsibilities. Your goal for the first year is to learn our process, our culture, what we do in ETS. You have one task, one project you're on, and that's it. After the year is over, I'll give you management responsibilities. And I held true to that, because now he's got 3 divisions he manages now.
Wow.
But that first year was for him to be comfortable. Do not worry about performance reviews for people or timesheets. That I'll take that responsibility.
Yeah.
It's to make them feel comfortable. And I think when you go into an organization, find the people who can help you get comfortable quickly, but don't lose your ability to understand what the company does and how it does it well, their processes, their people, how they interact with their vendors, how they interact with their customers, the people internally, get to know HR, get to know their staff, get to know people in the culture division, how they market, how they brand. What's the right words to use in the company for branding? And so you learn that style. You become part of the company culture.
Know that company's language.
Yeah, because you're representing the company from a technical perspective. So what works for them? What do they like? What they don't like? And ask people to be brutally honest. What hasn't worked in the past? Yeah. What was my predecessor like? What didn't they do for you? How did they not serve you well? What can I do differently? Give me all those examples.
It sounds like too, and just going back to your background.
Yeah.
The comm skills, right?
Yeah.
And the auditing, asking questions.
Yeah.
All those are those are things that you built along the way. Because you said you didn't have the traditional.
I have my journal.
There you go.
No, and I think it's the ones who come up the ranks. Like if you see the traditional fintech companies, there's a process. You're an asset wealth manager. You move up into the trading desk. There's a proper succession plan.
It's predictable,
right? If you're a lawyer, you go to school for you come out as a level 3, 4. Your first year, you're boom. You know where you're going to be. You want to find the right firm. Your first year, you got to kill it, because the first year sets you up for the next 2 or 3 years. So that's important there. But in tech, as a CIO, maybe you start, if you want to go that path, you go be a technical director, a CISO, or architect infrastructure. There's paths to get there, but not every path brings you to that level. And I think the CIOs today are more, there's a business acumen to it. If you have the technical chops, you need to have that still as well, to talk that language, but also talk business and people and process. So our jobs are evolving, and I love it. I think it's tremendously. And I think the new one I saw is now that the CIO has to be more of the architect as well, because you're architecting solutions on top of business processes and helping that business understand what that means for them. So you can't be in every business. It's impossible to know everything process. But if you understand the nuances of what said entity does or what stakeholder does, now you're relatable to them. And I think the one thing I also want to touch on too, I think, is what they need to do is, and I'm still learning this. This is, again, I'm critical of myself, because I think I have to be, is being able to connect with the people you work with, connect with them, because
I feel like that's number one for you.
It should be, because I think our job is to connect with people we talk to. And if you can connect with them on a workable level or a personal level, then they're willing to work with you more, basically. And you have to work at that. I think connectivity, cultural connection, emotional connection, however that is, people buy the people.
That's right.
Companies buy, and I tell our vendors, we're buying you, the person. The product we know is well off. At the end of the day, it's the people at the table that we're buying the contract from that we'll have that relationship with. So if you can connect with that person, you're liable to do business more with that person, basically. So it's a work in progress for me. Even though I'm a little bit more senior in my years, I have to keep working at it for me.
Oh, it's like continuous learning forever.
Yeah. Right? And when you read the trades, you read the friends, the books, and all the things, it's about personal connection. It really matters.
I love that you said that, because I do agree. I've been in IT for 30 years, and I've seen this CIO evolve tremendously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even like CTO, not CDOs. I mean, CAIOs, right? There's a bunch of different roles. But one thing that you mentioned that I want to double click on is business alignment.
Yep.
One thing that you mentioned, you said you need to know the people, your team, to understand what you have and build the trust. But you also had to meet with the business and gain their trust. Correct. Because they may not get the service delivery before.
That's correct.
And how do you how long did that take to bridge that trust?
It's still ongoing.
It's not.
It's never ending. Yeah. I think because you have to, well, the first year for me was the people, learn the business.
Yeah.
But if you do good work products, if you get to show them the value of the work you do and you give them examples of how you can be a partner for them, just because I'm a CIO, there's always that he's asking for certain things or she's asking for certain things. But it's more than just in that, though. I think, and you raise a good point. There's competition, the CIO, the CDO, the CIO, the CTO, the CISO, the CDIO, the Chief Data Information Officer, the Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer, the Chief Security Officer. There's a lot of chiefs running around there, but I'd rather have more individual connective stakeholders with one or two people who can run certain things.
Sure.
That's just how the culture, the companies are building their structure. And that's a good thing. It helps, define certain levels. But that relationship, the connected with the business is so, so important. You have to have it because what is their business outcome? What are they trying to solve? And if I understand that pain point, that means I can help them solve problems. But again, you have to show the value point. Hey, this is what I'm seeing. I see these scenarios coming up for you. Have you thought about that? If not, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
That's your business area. I will never make a business decision on your behalf, but I'll give you options. We'll give you scenarios. We'll talk things out.
Sure.
That's what you have to do. And I think in public sector, it's more of a lot of conversations have to happen.
Sure.
To kind of get there, but
you're more than enablement, right?
It's more than enablement. It's really, you have a stake in the game with them. You're with them all the way.
You're doing it together.
You're doing it together.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then, that's where the trust and then the track record.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So, you've obviously been collecting wins along the way.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
now, did you find them at first, like, they weren't going to IT and now they are? That swing for you a little bit?
Yeah and no. I mean, I don't want to answer this the right way. Sometimes they don't come to us, but that's, okay. Yeah. But not always. We don't like that. I'll be honest. I think you should always come to us first.
For sure.
Because there's an opportunity for cost savings or implementation or a better way of architecting something. And it's just, people have to be reminded or, hey, you got a solution. It may not fit in this way, but you've already bought it. Now I got to make it work. So you got to show the outcomes and the reverse engineering process. If we were earlier in the process, we could have either saved some money, built a better mousetrap, done things more easily. So
that's right.
You try not to make it, again, that's where I get it personally, I wish you came to me first, but sometimes you don't have those choices. There's always got to get it now, can't wait, got to go, boom, boom, boom. But that happens a lot. It
takes time to turn that.
Yeah.
But when it happens, man, it's wow.
And it takes a lot of personal capital to do it. You put yourself out there.
I got to take some notes, man. You're giving me too many nuggets here. Hold on a second. Bear with me real quick.
Free of charge.
Personal capital, because the more and more I interview so many CIOs, I will tell you, we haven't really talked about tech.
No, we haven't.
And that's what this position, this role is about people.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And you're trying to, regardless, in your customers is about people.
Correct.
Right.
The way I tell vendors who are pitching us at the county, the technology is the easy part for me. We can pick from a cadre of, I think it's a bag of riches for us because there's so many solutions out there to choose from. Obviously, the hard part is what's the right solution to choose? What's the right mix of tech, software, hardware, services across the board? That's the fun part. It's the people that come with the company that you're ultimately going to buy. Are they going to be with you during the good times, the bad times? And we asked them, the pillars I asked the people is, and they haven't asked me, are we a vendor or a partner? And I tell them, that's up to you. I have my strategic partners that we have. Mm-hmm. Today, you're a vendor. Do you want to be a strategic partner? How's it worth our while? Do you know? And I love people come to us and say, we're from Broward. That's a great thing. You've been in Broward for how many years as a company, but you never had a chance to sell to Broward County. Great. Let's talk about that. Why is that? Is it because of people? Is it because of personality? Is it culture? Is it timing? Is it tech? We interview these vendors. We want to know who they are. And I think that's our job as a role too, is because, having been on that side of the table as a consultant.
That's right.
We
had a little bit of both. We've got a couple of different views,
sides,
right?
Because their bona fides are the people who are on our accounts.
Yeah.
Who are those people? Yeah. And over time, you build that relationship. So when it comes to a time where, hey, I can't only spend X. That strategic partner knows the value of that relationship and will go the extra mile. And I think there's numerous examples across every industry that have that. So I think that's it's not really a great example, but it's what we use because for me and our team, we never thought that way. Previous CIOs never looked at it from that perspective. It's like, well, we're not going to buy that, moving on to something else. Or nope, we got this, we're going here basically. It's like, no, get to know the people who are behind the company. In my first year, I think we talked to 60 vendors.
Wow.
Just to get to know who they are.
Absolutely.
What do you do? Who are you from?
I like something you mentioned because I kind of say this in my office a lot.
Yeah.
Vendors, partners, you got to earn the partnership. We're registered.
Yeah.
But to make it to that list, you have to earn it.
Yeah.
And that comes when, are you there when stuff goes down?
You're going to see, you almost said it.
I do it all the time. We do that here. We do that here all the time. You're too good. I like it. Man, this is already getting fun for me.
I love it.
Man, there's a ton of stuff. I'm going to skip around a little bit.
Go ahead, it's okay.
Because
we're in a good groove right now.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
No, because you resonated suddenly, man. Look, I always like asking CIOs in my perspective, because, we do business with a lot of different clients.
Sure.
And, I always ask, what do we need to say to get the attention?
So I did an article last year through GovTech, and they asked what that very question. I said, understand what the county's culture is. What are the county's main priorities? And in any industry. So if I was a new CIO in a vertical for, let's say, a university or a hospital or insurance company or something that hadn't been known there, what's the core value, the mission statement of that organization? And that was what the company should drive to sell and meet those core mission values. So if you're about sustainability, reliability, Volvo cars, it was very easy. The freedom to move sustainably the freedom to move in a sustainable way. Driving to and from. The car was the most important thing. It got you to and from, but the car was the most safety feature. And so vendors who were selling to us knew the mission of the company was the freedom to move in a sustainable way. And that was embedded in all of our programs, our product sets. I sat on an R&D group doing global privacy work. That was the coolest thing. And how you build a car overseas, a car in the US was really fun to watch. 3-year, specs out, type accreditation, getting approved by the European Commission before it goes on the car.
Yeah.
Different, but you learned so much about, the vendors you're working with, what their goal was, because Volvo was all about the safety, the first seatbelt. We invented that piece for the car. That matters. So every car was built, safety doesn't matter, luxury, touch, comfort, the ability to have your family, very family-centric company. So those values matter. So Apple has its values, Google has its values, Dell, IBM, the big companies, Cisco, they all have their values of what they want to do as a company and culture. And so for Broward, we have our culture and our values. So we want companies who can align to those cultures and values when they come and sell to us, because that means they've paid attention to us, listened and looked at what we're doing, basically. I'm sure other state and locals have those same mission statements and value purposes, and they have the same similar value. And they live into those. That's what we should do. We want our partners and we want our vendors to kind of be the same mantra.
Yeah, that's partners need to invest in that.
Yeah,
right. And that's it's simple to say.
The simplest things are the hardest things to do, as we always say. But
amen to that.
And we also tell our partners and vendors, when we give feedback, we always say, you can give it to us too as well. We always say it's a two-way street. I like the feedback from our customers. What did we do wrong? What did we do to you that we should learn from? And they're surprised to get that question because they've never had it before.
Wow.
So it's a good thing.
That's a new a new culture, bro.
For us, it's different because, we want to perform well for our customers, for our vendors, right? Are we invoice on time? Are we paying you on time? Obviously, but are we responding to your inquiries on time? If you need certain things, are we getting to you in a timely manner? If there's a technical ticket, are our teams responsive? Because we're judged on that too as well, because it has to solve a problem behind our scenes basically too. So
100%.
It all kind of is this nice, simple mosaic circle, right?
I love that. Yeah. So I'm going to skip around on it a little bit now.
Yeah, okay. All right. I like it.
The play-by-play guy.
That's right.
I love it. So let me ask you, was there a setback, a difficult project, or professional disappointment that felt painful at the time, but ultimately made you better today?
Oh, yeah. I had to think about this one for a while because there's a couple that are really, really good. So I was a federal employee at DHS. We were building what was called the Federal Identity Credential Access Management Policy, the FICAM policy. And we wanted to build out the truly first, I guess, FICAM roadmap and identity maximus for the government. We knew we had to do this. It was important for our vendors, our contractors, our consultants. And I put together a phenomenal paper to change the structure of how we do credentialing, PIV locations, PIV-I, PIV-C, pushing to change the entire org structure in my area, also for the entity I used to work at, State Department, because we had a really bad ICAM model. I mean, really bad. Put together the paper, the analysis, the conversation. I thought I had everything right. I'm like, this is golden. I'm going to get this. This feels right. Everybody I talk to goes, this is great, Dom. We've been needing this for years. It sounds great. Make the presentation. Was shot down in 5 minutes.
And you even had buy-in, like you got confirmation earlier?
Not even that.
Wow.
And it's like, I go, well, wait a minute. I mean, I've got all this data. I mean, I spent months on this for you because this is going to be better for us. It's going to make the workforce much more attainable, much more efficient. A singularity credential across multiple branches of our agencies versus having multiple badges and things across the way. And they said, no, just like that. And then later on, you kind of realize, I'm glad that happened.
Yeah.
Because that was an unsolvable problem. As I said earlier, I think failures for us are okay.
Yeah.
It just teaches you like, okay, what did I need to do better next time? Was this one that was just, there was no way to win this one? Are these the ones that you just kind of go, it's not worth the energy and time because it's an entrenched thought process, or it's never going to change because it's been that way for 30, 40 years? And it'll be that way for another 40, 50 years, basically, right?
Wow.
And you have those. I mean, I'm trying to think of another one that I had. That was probably the most important one.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
what did it help you? Like, let's say you took that,
even
that lesson.
I'll say in my current role, there's some things that I wanted.
Okay.
It's always down to, I gotta have this. We really have to have this. If I can't get this, I have to really recalibrate. Can't give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. That hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, now I have to figure out how to make it work. And you do that, but
make adjustment.
It's like, I don't mind wins and losses. I just want more wins and losses. I mean, no one's going to bat 1,000. No one's going to throw 5 touchdowns per game with no interceptions. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. No one gets a hat trick every game.
Nope.
No one scores 3 goals in football for soccer.
It's not
going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
But if I can win more than I lose,
then
I'm okay. But again, my job is to be consistent. If I'm consistently getting the things I need to move the organization, to move the architecture, to make the people rise up, promote people, that to me is the ultimate goal. I'm going to have losses. I know over the next 2 or 3 years I'm going to have significant setbacks, and that's okay. I accept that. You have to, because sometimes as a leader, you're not going to get everything you want.
No,
you're just not. It's just, that's the reality part. And I think for somebody new coming into the chair, have that expectation, have a measured set of expectations. No matter how good your presentation is, no matter how perfect it's going to be, no matter how good the numbers are, there's always somebody who's going to say no.
Yeah.
And it's, you can be the best persuader in the world. Yeah. You can do everything possible to tell the best story you ever told your entire life.
That's right.
And sometimes it doesn't work that way.
It's not.
And we've had a few of those, but that's to be expected though. And sometimes you just don't want to have more of those and not of wins, because that means you're not delivering, you're not doing a good job. And so that's okay though.
You definitely want to be over 500, right?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I got another question for you. So right now, talking to a lot of different CIOs and leaders, they get a lot of pressure right now to do something.
Yes.
AI, right?
Yes.
This is the first time I've seen where they're at the board level, they're like, we're behind.
Yeah.
Their statements we're behind, you need to do something.
Yeah.
And CIOs are kind of like, yes, but there's other things to worry about, guardrails, security, heavy things.
Yeah.
Because it's also AI, in my opinion, for a small business like ours, I would say it leveled the playing field. So
it's been great for you guys.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I was like, where was this 25 years ago? So
we had RPAs.
Oh yeah.
We had robotic. We had those little bots running around like 6 years ago.
That was like the training wheels.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is because of competition, So now a competitor can catch you. If you're sleeping, that competitor today can catch you.
Yeah.
So how do you like satisfy or control the narrative?
It's
safe.
It's a fun time.
Mhm.
It's a scary time. It's a reactionary time.
Yeah.
And it's also, I go back, you're old enough to remember the cloud wars we had in the early 2000s and the dot-com booms. I think we're playing a similar playbook.
Yeah.
I don't mind the fear of missing out. I'd rather do it the right way. So we've taken, and I look at it from this perspective. If you know exactly what your AI is going to work on, then you know how to build it properly.
Mhm.
What is the model you need to do? What is the cost of that model? How are you going to orchestrate it? How are you going to architect it, basically? So these questions are now coming up. So 3 years ago, we were just mostly in generative, right? Retrievable internally. We can do, OpenAI or ChatGPT or Copilot, whatever you want to do. You knew that part. Now we're already into the next ethosphere of agentic now. And some of us are like, well, wait, I'm just trying to solve this first part here.
Yeah.
And the spend and the sales cycles and the ridiculousness of the different layers and tiers, reasoning models, the input, the outputs, it's getting very hard to figure out the playing field because today it's this, tomorrow it's something else. OpenAI has a price change. Doesn't prices go down? Claude raises its prices. Data centers are getting tapped out already. They're saying, well, clean your data up. Okay, we did this 2 years ago in data cataloging. Or the vendors are selling the same things multiple times, basically, right? So it creates a lot of confusion and diffusion out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be the music is going to be at some point, going to have to slow down at some point. So I tell my peers is like, know exactly what you want to do, figure out the model you want to do, properly build it, make it go back and forth and fail it. Make sure it fails properly too, because that failure can save you money on the next end when it goes back to learn something else. So
great point.
How are you building a model? Do you have the architecture in place? And we're already seeing stories in the press about, AI agents causing cyber attacks, but they're also saving money. There's always two sides of the story.
That's right.
I tell my colleagues, being a CIO is probably the greatest job in the world, but it's also the innovation part. You have this great technology, but you still have what we still have our core mission: protection, security, infrastructure. Doesn't go away. It becomes elevated now. And so it's almost like this pyramid track. From the top is like AI at the top of the pyramid, but everything beneath it still has to work properly, right? Your architecture, your infrastructure, your governance, your security pieces, the AI threats coming in. Do you have the right filters in place? Have you built the right access controls? Do you have the right security pieces in place to guard that? You'd write the CAP policy. Is your AI policy good? What rules do you have? How many language models are you permitting? What's your governance stance for that? And so I think it's becoming this, I'll use another sports analogy. It's a race. It's the F1 race around the track. And people are like, hey, Meta just passed me. OpenAI just passed me. I got to buy Claude. Well, why? Why do you need it?
Yeah.
And I think we're asking the questions now, what is the real business outcome that I'm trying to solve with it? Because it's very easy to go into this spend-a-rama capability pieces.
Oh, yeah. You can go down rabbit hole.
Right. We'll give our people, hey, you want to buy Enterprise ChatGPT? Great. Do you know what you're going to use it for? Here's that margin call conversation. The retriever part. This is what you can do with these version models. This is the cost it comes into. And I think it's good that our county is asking these questions now, because they want to be prudential in the money that we're going to be spending on this. And also, is it getting the right value add to the people to solve the right business problems? Because you saw the story. Uber blasted through their budget and like $1.5 million. We're capping certain people, and CIOs don't want to be in the business of being the token dealer.
Oh yeah.
I use that today, saying I don't want to be that bad dealer guy because I'm the bad guy because I didn't give you enough tokens, and I'm not in that business. And pooling tokens is not a good practice right now. It's not really built out yet, but you can start seeing that. So the fear of missing out, I think, is not there anymore. People are doing it. It's everywhere. I mean, we're seeing tons of equity being spent, but those people have to get capital back.
Yeah.
They need money back. And, we're not a large cash place to go get those kind of money back. So we have to take a step back and really realize, what are we getting for the value of these things? I mean, I can buy every AI out there, but it becomes a circular of money just going down and down and down. And before you know it, you're your AI bill is higher than your cloud bill. Oof. Right? Remember those days you get your Amazon bill, your Azure cost? I'm like, wait a minute, I spent what? I have a $9,000 bill for what?
Yeah,
What'd I do? Oh no, that's just your S3 and your Lambdas on your Azure compute costs. That's your monthly, storage cost basically. And so this is the other part of the equation. So it's a great time. It's a hard time. It's a confusing time. It's a budgeting problem. So this is the part we have to grapple with and try to make it clear to our executives what we're going to spend on and how we're going to spend the money on. So it's a good problem to have, but a bad problem to have too. If that helps answer that question.
It does. I mean, no, those are real, that's real life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and Swallow, every 6 weeks, now it's Fable 5. Now it's like 5,
Luna,
6.
Haiku. And 5, 6 is phenomenal.
I know.
It's great.
It moves fast.
It moves fast.
So they got to just.
But token prices are coming down right now.
We're all praying for that.
And, you're starting to see, like I said, Meta is going to start, getting out. They're going to start leasing out their equipment or their compute costs. There's only be a huge handful of people at some point, this spigot is going to have to figure out what's next. We can't keep spending like this on the investment because the hyperscalers have bought all the compute power. The cloud providers have it all. The Anthropic, OpenAI have all this compute and NVIDIA. For us, it's like, what do we do? What can I buy? What can I realistically do at certain levels? So it's challenging. It's fun. And I think, we all have to kind of be collectively thinking as a group to work together on these problems. So, like I said, it's a great time to be a CIO. It's also a challenging time.
Right. It's like having two lives. It's two different lives and tabs and stuff like that. As far as adoption, like in general, like, do you finding like with AI, are you finding a faster adoption or is it slower?
We take a prudent approach to it. I rather adopt at the speed of necessity versus the speed of I have to have it. Because if you just go by at the speed of having to have it, then you're missing the outcome for it. Well, I'm going to give this individual 100 ChatGPT licenses and go crazy on emails and research and stuff. But great. It's just helped you on administrative. You could use Copilot for that or something else.
100%.
We're trying to get to the point where is the true, real dollar savings for these things? Which of your business processes really need to be agenticized, basically? And where do you save that money? For those of us who grew up as an auditor, right? Well, we looked at business process rules and BPRs and all those large, what if then type of diagrams that are still in place today that run certain systems, right?
Sure.
Is there something that is a high-end essential system that could possibly be used as an agentic model that you can build and say, yeah, that can save some real dollars for that?
Absolutely.
And that's the business conversation piece. So you and I get AI for our data activities. We know what that's going to be. You're going to use it for, graphical representations, PowerPoints, research analysis, help you write a document or review your work. That's just an assist for you, that piece. That's your activity to help you be more productive. But a real workflow that actually solves a problem where you use agents and tokens to build things back and forth. That's the next part we have to get into. And I think that's where those production systems come into play.
Okay.
And that's where that return on investment has to come into play. If I spend X amount of dollars that solves a really big business problem, what's that metric going to be for me going in the out years? Because there's a cost for that. Everything has to, goes out, a cause and effect. I buy, I need to get an output.
You got it. Yeah. ROI, man. ROI, it keeps score.
Yeah.
Right? So let me ask you that.
Sure.
Like, I love that you said, I wrote it down, business process.
Yep.
It's something we're learning because we do AI and all that, solutions for clients and stuff like that. But we're finding like, hey, just don't throw technology at it. Let's revisit the process first.
Correct.
Like if that's not fixed, you're just just making the process worse.
No, I think that's the right question to ask. How much does this AI cost for the workflow I'm trying to solve? So let's say your workflow has 25 different intersectionality connected pieces. Where can you strategically put an agentic workflow to make that better? You can't rebuild it all, basically. If you want to, you could do that, right? Tactically insert an agentic model somewhere in that business process or that standard workflow to increase in efficiency that saves time.
Sure.
That may give you some dollar savings down the road. I think that's the next part of the conversation we're trying to have right now, because that's the production system. At some point, I think, we, as I mentioned, we had an MCP server we wanted to buy. We bought one of our own.
Okay.
We had thought about building our own data models, our own agentic. But that requires a staffing model. It requires a lot of developers. And it's not feasible.
It's a big investment.
It's a big investment. But at some point, you're going to start seeing that, because, why go buy X system? You can vibe code it. You can use other things and do internally and save a ton of money. So we're looking at those options too, as well, as much as we possibly can with what we have staff-wise. But I think what you made the question earlier is the right question. What are we trying to solve in this process we've had for 20 years? We've known it. It's static. It works, right? Go back to when Virgin Atlantic first did it. They're in their systems. Airports have massive legacy applications.
Yes, sir.
And they work well, right? They were the first ones that broke every rule. Say, hey, AI, go crazy. Learn it. Where can you make it better? And I think that's, there has to be a courage be done to do these kind of things, right? So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I think it's like that business conversation. It's not an AI conversation. It's a business conversation.
Correct. We've had these before, right? Let's go back to our PAs and bots. How many bots you want to use to do that process in your data warehouse, right? It's the same thing. It's just a different technology, but it's the same conversation using different terms and different outputs.
And you go further back, like, what did they do before ERP systems?
Correct.
It's like history repeating itself.
We're back to we're back to platform as a service, infrastructure, software. Now we have disaster recovery as a service, agentic as a service, AI as a service, governance. So anything AIS up behind it now, it's the same thing. So repatriation, repatriation of cloud onto prem, right? At some point, one thing I always look for is, can I build that agentic model in my infrastructure? If I can do that, if I can take that idea from said vendor and put it in my infrastructure, great. What's that give us? It gives us the sovereignty. It gives us the control. It gives us the security apparatus. It gives me the ability to track it and monitor it, basically. So, we're all over the places, aren't we? We're all over the place.
That's definitely like. So, what I like about it is, with AI, it makes things possible now.
It does. No, I mean, it's like the terminology I had. Remember when we had information warfare, information assurance? It's been around for a long time. People just remember when we had the first type of attacks using information warfare. Been around for many, many years, and we learned that term exists. So AI is like the next generation, and I use this in a conversation. We're in the next evolution. So RPA's AI. We've had these same conversations, but now AI is completely changing the model piece, which is phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
can do many great things. I mean, for healthcare, for research, and
that's good stuff there.
It's phenomenal stuff. I mean, to decode certain things in medical, it's phenomenal. But again, controls, the biases, make sure you have the right rules in place, the ethics in place. It's a wonderful time. It's a cool time. It's also the scary time, of course, because you have the other side. You can have AI attacks being generated much more quickly. Then we had our old days. We had a bunch of script kids going out there running all kind of brute force attacks on computers. Now I can create an attack pretty quickly. The Huggins attack, that was a huge one. Forget the data warehouse that was compromised recently. It had an AI delete an entire database. I think it was Canvas or something. Correctly. That was crazy. But these things are happening now. Yeah. So
you get bad actors, better tools.
And you have the prompt injection, SQL prompt injecting, AI injecting, of course. There's so many things that can happen in this space. So, like I said, two sides to every coin of innovation. There's the great, and there's always the threat side of the house. So we're keeping our threat actors gainfully employed with new technology, right?
Yes, sir.
But we're also having to try to be one step ahead. So telling somebody new coming in the CIO chair, understand the landscape, understand the market you're in, understand the threats you have to deal with.
That's right.
Understand the scenarios you have, what's been attacking you, what has been attacking you, what can come next. The imagination has to be wide open. Nothing is impossible now.
That's what I find that's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity, but it's got to be controlled. It can't be the Wild Wild West, man.
Can't be Skynet, right?
But you're right. There's a lot of good, right?
A lot of good. No, there's a lot of good. I mean,
predictive, like for healthcare, we do a lot in healthcare. Like, imagine being able to early detection.
Correct.
What can that do? That should save lives.
It's a wonderful gift to humanity, but there's always the ones that will do the nefarious things. So there's always, like I said, so many things we do with technology today has great intentions, but there's always those things and those individuals and those actors who want to just kind of make it unsettling for the rest of the world, basically. But, our job is to be the white hats and be spies in our own organization and look for the spies. And we're trying to make sure that we take care of them and root them out before anything bad happens.
So I'm going to go off script again.
Okay.
All right.
Not surprising.
You're used to this by now, right?
By now.
So I got to ask you, because I'm really interested in asking.
Sure.
I want to understand your approach or style to it. How do you identify talent? Like, how do you tell me about your approach? What do you look for?
I didn't have to, for the 5 years of my job, I've been doing that now, but previously I never had to hire anybody. In my previous roles,
no?
I was always hired. In my 5 years as a CTO, CIO, going back in time, I never had to hire people. I was always hired for contracts. So now I've learned in the last 5 years as a CTO, CIO, I've had to hire people. So it's been a new thing for me.
Okay.
Resumes, reviews, talent. So it's been an interesting journey. We look for people who are enthusiastic, who are humbled, who are hungry, who want to learn, and don't have to be, I guess, so overly impressive or overzealous that they want to be a good contributor. They have good, stable backgrounds. They want to work hard. We hire interns. We love the interns at the county. They're great. We've hired like 4 or 5 interns this year alone. Being a county, you're not going to offer the major salaries as other competitors do. We tell people, give us a shot. We'll give us 5 years. Learn a trade. We'll train you. We'll give you the skills you need for that other job you want to.
Sure.
It works. But again, you're competing because the industry has higher dollar values. Mm-hmm. I like to see our organization be an employer of choice. People want to come work for us. We get a lot of resumes. I think that's indicative of our culture. We do get, I hate to say it, we do get the AI resumes. We get a lot of them.
Now for
we
that,
get
right?
a lot of them. And actually, we actually did an interview with somebody who gave every answer in AI. We had
You can send your resume to 1,000. One button.
We actually we changed the policy right afterwards. We had a remote interview that you actually like the story. It actually was quite funny. The interview was for our infrastructure team, and these guys are they ask great questions. They do their homework. They know what's going on. We actually we do a lot of scenarios. We'll do, you have a building you want to connect to. You have this, you want to use a public Wi-Fi, a VXLAN, or Cisco infrastructure. How would you build it? And no answer is the wrong answer. We want to see critical thinking, how they can solve a problem.
Sure.
So the questions we were asking this guy, they were telling me was he would look to the left and then come back and give an answer. And then we go, okay. And then we got his answers. We ran it through a simulation, a ChatGPT. Every answer he gave was the exact answer in ChatGPT. Hilarious.
Oh,
absolutely hilarious.
I love it.
And so we have in person, of course, but we do have those rare interviews where we have to do something remote. We'd say, hey, no screen, no, we want to see your desk. No, nothing else, just you and the desk and the phone. But yeah, we get a lot of resumes, and we're fortunate for that. The county is a good employer of choice, but we just look for people who are going to be competent, humbled, eager to learn, want to work. We've had, I think in my organization, we've had attrition, people have been retiring, so we backfill a lot of people. So I really have not hired anybody new. It's always been backfill positions because we want to have more AI engineers in our organization. So we're going to build that out. It makes sense because of developers. We'll give all those people Claude to go crazy with. Claude Code, which means my budget's going to go whoop like that.
Consumption time.
I tell my guys, hey, and gals, we do have some females that do engineer, which is great. And that's awesome because they're fantastic. We go easy on the tokens. I know you're building some great things in GitHub and Claude, but
leave the lights on.
Leave the lights on.
Yeah. You mentioned something. I gotta mention something. You probably know this.
Sure.
Everything that you described, you didn't mention one thing about technical.
That's right.
It's all intangibles.
It's all the people. It's the intangibles. And I think I was actually in my one interview I had with the county, we never talked about technology. It was all about where'd you come from?
Yeah.
What did you do? How'd you relate with people? It's relatableness, and can you connect with somebody on a personal level?
Sure.
There were some questions about technology, of course, because cybersecurity is important, but we'll ask technical questions, but then we've changed. We've asked them behavioral. How do you handle conflict? How do you handle tough situations? How do you handle diversity? Because you're going to have those days, you're going to have a really rough day.
Yeah.
What do you do? And I remember our prep conversation we were talking about, and I think this is important because, being in my role, it's a lonely position.
Very much so.
And you need to, and I think going back to the previous conversation about, somebody new coming into the chair, who are your friends? Who are your network? Can you have somebody you can reach out to that you can gleanfully trust? What is that network for you going to be like? Because you need someone to have a trusted source to talk to and be able to regulate you and give you feedback, constructive feedback that you won't get at your workspace sometimes. And I think we want that kind of person who's humble, who's been through some fires, who can handle adversity and be calm in situations. Sometimes we lose our emotions because we want to get things done. We're human.
Human nature.
We're human nature.
Yeah,
it's going to happen to all of us. And I think I'm still learning to maintain my emotional regularity because I'm an emotionally passionate person. I mean, blue collar Italian guy. My gosh. I mean, we're like, when we lose something, we're like, oh my God, what happened? Because we care.
Absolutely. You wear it here, right?
We do. And I'm not ashamed to wear it on my sleeve.
Yeah.
And I think, you talk about, what you've learned going back. I've had someone say I've gotten a little softer. I don't know if I have or not yet, but I think
I don't know if everybody would say that one, but
well, in terms of how I'm presenting or how I'm interacting with people, because that matters to me because it means I'm getting better at conversations and presentations, and like I'm being vulnerable when I say this because it's important because we're all human. It's okay to show you have a fault or two, basically. Yeah, I think it's important not to be always so over the top.
Agreed.
Be humble, read the room, understand situations.
Take ownership.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're the first ones to say, we messed up. I got that. That's on me. And that's okay. That's a good thing to do. But people who are going to be humbled, who can handle adversity, who are willing to learn something new, because you're going to find the people that you have in those candidate pools that say, well, I've been doing this for 20 years. I know what's going on. Can you tell us how you overcame a certain challenge? And if they can't artfully tell that story, we want to make sure we dig more into that. Because we have to find the cultural fit for us.
Yeah.
They may be great on paper. They may have a great resume background, but when you talk to them, it may come across as a different way. Okay, maybe it's a bad day that person had. Maybe they didn't come across on their best that day. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we get a lot of great candidates, and it's a bag of riches for us. Great. Yeah. We get to pick the best of the best. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a new thing for me in 5 years, hiring people.
And now that you explain that, you're right, because a lot of your career you spent as a consultant.
I've been placed in certain things, I've been hired. And then I think Allstate was the first one where I actually had to manage people. And I will tell you this, I think also it's important to be, nice is okay, but be kind. Nice is being truthful. Kindness is truth. Being nice doesn't always get you ahead. Kindness tells the truth. Kindness opens up the door to have those conversations. And in my career at Allstate, I was the nice guy. I was the one who was always going to be buddy. I wanted to make the people happy. And I learned this the hard way that doesn't always work into your favor. So when you're responsible for someone's compensation and their bonus portfolio, I learned the hard way. Yeah. I invited a friend over for dinner at the time with my wife. We were having Easter dinner, and he was my coworker, but I managed him. We had quarterly check-ins saying, hey, we're getting to the end of the year. So when we get to that point where we have performance review and evaluations, there's no surprises.
Yeah.
And so that friendship ended because that person didn't get the highest bonus that he was thinking because he was leveraging the friendship. And so I learned that lesson pretty quickly. Hey, you're my associate, you're my coworker. We're acquaintances in the office. So that was a good lesson to learn about leadership and how to be, with somebody there. So I try to take that forward. Yeah. I'm very personable with my office and my friends, but I try to keep it like that. Yeah. Because I have to pay them. I have to give them pay raises and take care of them too. So I learned that lesson on too as well. So it was a dynamic for me in the last 5 years to learn that. And I've gotten better at it though. It's always work in progress.
You got to be aware of that, but that's, that's unfortunate. Something like that happens.
It's a good thing.
It's good that happened, but it wasn't your fault that.
No.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
But you took it like, what the heck happened? It's like, we learned, we had our quarterly check-ins. How are you on Allstate had very specific performance measures. and you ranked at the beginning of the year. This is what you agreed to. We checked in every quarter. It was a wonderful process. And the two people that were, I think, most influential for me were Keith Lippert and Mia Booms. They're the ones that got me to really start thinking about leadership, because they took an interest in me at that time. They were phenomenal people. They're probably the two best people I've ever met in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Glad you mentioned that. So like, that's a good one to see it again, a little off script. So I love that you mentioned, I love when leaders mention, people that, help them out.
Yeah.
So that's a great shout out, right?
Yeah.
So how important is mentorship?
Very important. I never had I'll be honest, I've never had a mentor up until the last 5 years. Even with Allstate, Keith was a wonderful manager. He was a VP. And one day he visited us from Ireland. He was the first U.S. person to work in our Ireland office for first time ever, being a U.S. employee, being in Northern Ireland. Came to our office in Chicago, and he took a liking to me for a couple of things. One, because I was new to the organization. I was working really hard. But he also said something to me that was very, very revealing. He goes, "Hey, man, you're putting in crazy hours. I'm gutted that you haven't asked me for help. You're burning yourself out." That right there was like, yep, someone's taking an interest in me right there.
So he cared about you.
He cared. He could have said, "Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Knock your socks off.
Yeah.
Burn both ends of the stick.
Workhorse. Let's keep on going.
Let's ride that horse until it's ready to go out to pasture, basically." And him and Mia were like of that same cloth. Check in. What are you doing? And I think I go back to my previous statement, is that have people check in on you. What's going on? Because if they don't have those, if your friends don't check in on you, because it's important. Our jobs are very, very, very intense, very pressured. We have a lot of expectations to do, and you need that outlet. You need that person to talk to. And I'm still friends with him to this day. We haven't talked for a while, but I check in when I can with him. He's just a rock solid guy.
They appreciate that, man.
Yeah, they do.
A long way.
Yeah,
both
they do.
Of them, Mia as well, right?
Yeah. Mia's now in Dallas. I haven't talked to her in a while, but I see her pop up from LinkedIn from time to time. She's super cool.
That's awesome.
Keith, super good guy. Yeah.
Are they still in the industry too?
Keith was Barclays, Allstate. I know he's landed somewhere else now, and Mia's down in Dallas. I think she's still with Allstate.
That's wow. That's good. That's good. Yeah. I mean, mentors, it's help. It's hard to do this thing alone.
It is. And, I don't have a true mentor. I'll follow people. I'll try to watch. And I think that's something that I need to get. I have a couple of friends that I'm really close with, that they're like my pseudo mentors.
I can bounce things safely.
Safely. Right. Yeah. I mean, but that circle is getting smaller, because you want to make sure that you can call somebody and say, "I need you for a few minutes." And they're there for you.
And Dom, that gets smaller and smaller the more you.
Correct. And so, the ones that are there for you say, "Hey, can you leave a meeting at 3:00 to come see me?" Absolutely. On the way. And I think I think I mentioned this to you in prep. Simon Sinek is working on a project about friendships versus leaderships. And it's resonating because he goes, people are great leaders, but you need good friends. As your friend, they're going to be there when you need somebody at that time of day, because we had to be good. But what's a good friend? A good friend is someone who shows up, who's there, who's interested, who cares, who reaches out, who checks in, right? And I think that as I'm getting up in the career and up in my years, it's more important about the quality of the friendships and the quality of the relationships. And I'm trying to bring that to my role. Is everything to do is relationships. Yeah. Like I said, the technology will be there.
That's right.
But the relationships really matter.
Wow. And it's 1,000 spot on, man. I mean, the systems, they're not going to go anywhere, man.
Yeah.
It's the people.
Systems come and go.
That's 100%.
People will still,
I'm looking to see what's next behind AI. There'll be something else that's like huge, right?
Remember our DVD days and then Blu-ray? What was after Blu-ray? Nothing. It kind of stopped, right? Remember that? Yeah.
You're right.
I'm
streaming now. Streaming.
That's right. Streaming. Right? Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus. That was the next version after Blu-ray DVDs. And now we're in the streaming videos now.
Since you brought up Netflix, have you read the book? It's freaking awesome. Like they said, never work.
Never work.
The two books will never work.
I have books, but I need to go back and read some of these books I've been given. And I have Adam Grant's book, The Good to Great.
Good one.
But go back to, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People in the Friends and Digital Age. Those are good ones too. I like listening to some podcasts. I like listening to some things, but I think now more so than ever, I still learn. I want to be educated in my field, but I think it's more about the friendships and relationships. and being a leader is important too. There's a ton of books on leadership and courses and programs and coaches that are out there, but I'd rather learn about being a good friend. Being a good friend is when you're a good friend, you're a good leader. I think that matters.
That's very real, man. You're right.
That's the new t-shirt.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a nugget here because you give me so many.
All right.
You ever heard of an app called Blinkist? I have no affiliation.
I've not heard of this one.
So it's like, remember Cliff Notes?
Yeah.
Back in the day, dating ourselves.
Hey,
brother.
Man, the Cliff Notes on Microsoft Excel.
So Blinkist is really cool. I listen to the gym all the time.
Okay.
And it's every book you can imagine, in about 50 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So it was good because I listen to sometimes the same book over, having
micro learning, right?
That's me. I was that guy. I was a horrible student, brother.
Yeah.
Micro learning. Micro learning. Oh no, I was.
Okay, I'll reveal something about myself too. So
we're being vulnerable.
I am. I was the kid who liked to be up first in the morning to be first in class. My mom used to go, "It's 6 a.m." I said, "Yes, I have to be at school at 7. Let's go."
That's good. That's a good characteristic to have.
She couldn't stand it. She's like,
I was the opposite.
I was always the kid who sat in the front row in college. Yeah. But still, though, I was a heavy procrastinator in my 30s, 40s. So I would tell the kids coming up, or the people coming into the career, don't procrastinate.
Yeah.
Set your goals. Be rigid.
Yeah.
Bill Hurley says it best. Find 3 or 5 people that are immensely passionate and experts in the field, and go after them. Yeah. Follow them, learn them, pattern them, be well. Because there's some great CIOs in public and private sector that I go, that's right there. That's the person I like to be right there. The presence, the camaraderie they have, the ability to tell a story. Because our job is basically persuasion and telling stories and providing input as to what we have to do going forward. This is the strategy, but here's the thought process behind that strategy. What's the outcome? What's the impact? The pros and cons. So I'm enjoying this ride. Don't take it for granted. If I tell somebody else coming in, never take your job for granted because somebody else can do the job.
That's really
always
nice.
Humbled, walk in. I don't want to be perceived as the smartest person in the room because that's a bad perception to have.
Yeah.
There are people who are way smarter than me.
Yeah.
100%. And I have no problem saying it.
Yeah.
You are a rock star. You know,
that's good that you have that.
Don't buy it. Just buy it.
So, wow. So let me ask you this question.
Sure.
So you shared a lot about yourself and I love it. You're very vulnerable, which I appreciate you doing that, man. Have to fast forward. Let's fast forward a little bit.
Let's fast forward.
So we went back. Fast forward.
All right.
So let's go, 5 years. Like, what does success look like for you?
5 years from now?
Well, we're in AI right now. Let's say 2 years.
Well, exactly right. I think success for me is, have I left the county in a better position than if I was gone in 2 years?
That's great.
Or have I promoted people up into the next ranks?
Oh, right. Now we're talking. That the coolest
for me,
thing I've heard all day.
That is the coolest for me. Is like, have I moved up a person to be my deputy?
Yeah.
Have I moved somebody up to replace me if I was going to be retired in 2 years? Who can do the job after I'm gone, basically? Have I made people, have I paid them more? Have I given them an opportunity to be successful? I think for me, success is if I'm healthy, if I'm happy, if I'm able to be able-bodied, able-mind. I'm still learning.
Sure.
I love what I do. I would never trade it for anything else. I never expected to be a call to be a CTO.
No.
Never, like I said, when Dane called me, it was probably the most surprising thing of my life.
Catch you off guard a little bit?
It sure did, because what's a chief technology officer? Great. I had to learn fast.
Yeah.
But I think I try to operate in a way that if I make somebody better, and I need to make myself better too. It's a two-way street. For me, success is I've been healthy. I've been able to do good work. I deliver on certain things, but I've grown better as a person, I think, for me. And that's difficult because I've always been on my own for a long, long time. And you need those friends to talk about, well, what can I do better? Where have I failed you? Where have I not helped out there? And so I think I'm getting more, as I get older in my career, a little more older in my years, what can I leave behind as a legacy for somebody else, basically? In my current role, who can I promote? Who's available? Who's ready? We have the attrition coming in, who can step in when that person's gone, basically, right? We'll have a good amount of retirements in my organization in the next year or two. Great. Who's ready to step up? Who wants to step up?
Sounds like an opportunity.
Yeah. And I think if I can give back that way, cool part, I'm going to take a mini MBA course in October at Rutgers Business to learn more about MBAs and AI together. It was a really cool course.
That's good.
Shout out to Rutgers for that one.
Rutgers,
Sorry about that. It's a new program. It's pretty cool. But for the people part, if I'm able to connect more with people, understand, there's a great book, Conversations Matter, right? Each conversation matters. And I think I want to make sure I have every day that matters for somebody else. It can't be about me. It's about them.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me tell you, man, they always say it to me. I've been reading a lot about it here and everywhere. It really defines a really good leader is like, who's
ready? And some people, you may say, I think you're ready. They're going to say they're not. Well, if I think you're ready, then you have to believe you're ready.
Yeah.
And this is something that I my ex-wife was really good with this. She says, you are the best cheerleader for yourself. You have a lot of good things about you that you don't talk about. And you should do that. And I think we all need to talk about ourselves in a positive way because I think there's a book about, the power of positive thinking.
Oh yeah.
It's appeal.
Yeah, for sure.
What you put in your mind is what you'll put out, basically. So if you believe you're going to have a great day, you have a great day.
Yeah.
So if my job is to promote people in my organization and put them in their business to be successful, that to me is the win. So in 2 years successfully, I hope I promoted a half of my staff to something bigger and better.
That's really cool. Man.
Yeah.
That's success.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, if that happens, there's a lot of wins there along the way, right?
Along the way. And then of course the projects will deliver, right? There's a guy I brought over from our libraries division last year. I won't say his name because I'm sure to protect him. He's a really good guy. Yeah. For a while, I had to work with him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't take his own initiative. Well, in the last 6 months, he's had his initiative. He's on focus. He's on point. I'm like, well, when that person retires, you're going to move up in this position. So they already have the incentive.
Yeah.
So it's like I create that incentive workplace. It's difficult because in public sector, you have the people who are entrenched. They don't want to move up, which is totally fine, but they want to pay and with the balance, of course. And I get that. And so my job is to provide the pathway for them to be successful. So I hope in 2 years I've promoted half my staff.
That's awesome. And you also, I'm sure I can take a guess here, like trainings and stuff like that. That's like table stakes for you, right?
Well, I will say this, there's 2 people on my staff that are going to Black Hat next week.
That's really cool.
And no one from our staff ever went to Black Hat.
I know a lot of big time companies that a lot of people that go to Black Hat.
And I did that because it was a thank you to them. I depleted my own budget for them. You guys get to go to that. That's my thank you for the work you've done for the year. Wow. So it may hurt me, but it helps them. Yeah, my training I want to do takes a back seat, but I promote that. That's the most important thing.
That's a cool thing you did that.
Yeah. I get how I say is
that's a message. That's also a big message, man.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful statement.
Because
not a statement, it's action.
Because I think, it's easy to be a leader and say we're going to do certain things, but you have to put that into action, like you were saying. And so they're like, hey man, really thank you for this. I'm like, hey, enjoy, learn, because how often does this come around?
I mean, so it was like, that's such a good opportunity.
For them, it's a great opportunity because they're going to see all the AI threats that the black hackers go after. Yeah. And for us, it's a 2 or 3 day learning. Yeah. It's a dump of like information you can never get in a book.
Yeah.
They tell you, hey, make sure you put your phone in a Faraday bag. This is what it's like. But they're excited. They're super stoked.
So they're bringing back also great stuff.
For me, I get them more knowledge. It makes them more excited. They seem valued. They're appreciative and they're more engaged. They want to do more. The morale goes way up.
That news spreads too.
Yeah.
That.
Oh yeah. It does spread. Hey, the boss has let me go here.
Yeah. Look what he did for us. Wow. That's that probably hasn't happened.
No. And actually, I actually, this is it. I do a monthly lunch with my help desk team. I buy them lunch once a month.
I love it because let me tell you, like, I think that's an overlooked area. And that's your front door. That's your representation. I don't care what anybody says.
We say, hey, where do you guys want to have lunch?
Yeah.
I buy it, of course.
Yeah.
I sit with them. We talk about family. That's it. It's a culture in Sweden. It was called fika. So if you're in a division, it's a 3:00 Thursday, or every teams would pick their fika day. You have a pastry, a cake, or coffee. You sit with your team for a half hour, an hour. You talk about nothing about work, your family, your kids, weekends. It's a break from the day. It's a re-energy.
Yeah.
We had little coffee cups called fika.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fika.
Fika.
F-I.
And so we bring that.
That's something new. I love this. That's what I love about this thing.
It's so I do it, like I said, with my help desk team. I buy lunches periodically for my staff because it's my way of saying thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to do if you can
Appreciate it.
and
you could control
that.
You know, and
We have
probably learn a ton too.
learn a ton, but again, when you walk the floor, you ask questions, and people like that. Hey, when we have lunch again? So it sets a precedent. I'm like, okay, wait, darn it, what do I do?
Hey, it's my turn, right?
We have coffee club every time at 2:00. We have the Colombian coffee.
Cafecito time. Did you know about that before coming down to South Florida?
I did not.
That was the first time we had a cafecito.
Oof.
You bouncing off the walls. You got good energy.
I know. And they try to give me I'm going to say it wrong, empanadas
Empanada, yeah.
and pastelitas.
Oh, that's my favorite.
So we have people in our office, that's all they eat. They go, you have to have one, boss. I'm like, I'll just do the coffee. I'm good.
Oh, you didn't break down and do a pastelito.
No.
You're a really disciplined man.
I am.
But
they enjoy it.
Me, I'm going to have it.
So, and of course, when we have World Cup, we had teams watch and stuff like that. Yeah. I said, we're going to do a working lunch in the office. So
yeah, you could entertain and do play-by-play.
I couldn't do that. Those guys are on another level. Those guys that call games are just phenomenal.
It's phenomenal, man. So let me ask you, as we wrap up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not realize it or not, but you paid it forward all over the place, man. Like, a lot of great nuggets, a lot of great advice here. And that resonates. You never know who resonates wherever they're at in their career journey, but you hit leadership, you hit entry, I like that. One of the things that I wrote down a lot was that when I asked you, what do you look for in talent? You literally described nothing. And you're in a CIO. You literally said not one thing about technology. And I was waiting and you were going for a minute, and I was waiting to see if you're going to say something about technical stuff. And you didn't do it one time. You could teach that.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it's hard to teach intangibles.
Right. Exactly right. It's hard to teach motivation. Either you have it or you don't. It's hard to teach initiative. Either you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
And most people coming in have motivation. They have intent. They have intention. They want to do good work. Talk to me about them. The resume speaks for itself. There's so many ways to learn now. I mean, you can get YouTube channels, masterclass, which I'm a huge fan of. It's a huge fan of that. Masterclass is great. There's so many ways to learn. And more so, I think, when we were going to college than I think ever before. You got books, audios, classes, 2-week classes, podcasts, YouTube sessions, LinkedIn learnings. There's no excuse not to be educated. I think now more than ever in our fields, whether you're teaching in healthcare and business and finance or personal relationships or coaching, there's so many ways to learn. There's so many experts out there who've done it before and have done it over the course of their careers. Would it be learning a new language? There's so many tools. Duolingo, you can learn apps that way for learning, Swedish or Spanish or Italian. There's so many things to do at your fingertips. It says, are you motivated to do it? Right?
That's the difference.
And do you want to do it? And I think, when people come into our organization, they're here to interview, but how motivated you are to get the job.
That's it.
How bad do you want it? And that will show. Technical questions, if they'll show. If they don't have the chops, that's of course, right?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, you'll know. And we've had those. Everybody gets those, like if it's a senior role, it's a junior person and you can see it. But we say, is this person trainable? Is there opportunity? Is there a path for us to help that person up? We want to take that opportunity on. And we had those conversations. Is it worth the time for us to be able to be a coach and a mentor? We should do that. If this person's the right fit and not be there yet, we can help them get there basically. So we look at that too as well. But yeah, if it's a certain role, if it's a person who has to know infrastructure or cloud applications, they have to have that, of course. But again, the personality, the aptitude, the competency, the motivation, the humbleness, the eagerness, the intuition, they ask questions. They ask questions about us more than the easy ones. Well, what do you do? What's your role? No, what's the county's position? What are we doing there? That means they take the time to learn.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I like to, it's like a draft.
Exactly.
Like, you see projections, right?
And now with the first pick in the overall draft, terrible Terry Tate, the offensive linebacker.
I love it.
Remember that one?
I love it.
Oh, it was my favorite. It was my favorite thing. That was so much fun, man.
It's a lot. I love sports, big, ridiculous sports, especially baseball. But let me ask you this.
Sure.
Because this is one as we, we'll finish, we'll wrap on this one. But what is your favorite part? You've been doing it. You got to understand that you've been at it for 5 years as CIO, right?
Yeah.
You're a veteran now.
I'm a veteran.
You crossed over.
I did cross over.
So what's your favorite part through those 5 years about being a CIO?
I think there's a couple parts that I like about it the most. Obviously, I get to nurture people in my organization. I get to take care of my staff. The best part is really doing it. I think the best part of two things. One, the staff, take care of the staff, learn the people, learn the culture. The best part is that I'm around other peers. I get to see people in the industry who've been in it a lot longer than I have. I get free research. I get free access. I get an opportunity to watch people who have been in it a lot longer than I have do what they do best. To me, that's the utmost respect I could possibly have, is being in a room with somebody who has been at this role for 10 or 15 years and they've excelled. What did they do? How did they do it? The best part of the job is I get to talk to a lot of vendors, which is kind of cool. I get to talk to different industry peers. And for the first time, I think I get the ability to tell my story. I never had that before. I think that's a new thing for me in my career. I've always been the behind the scenes kind of person, get the job done, do things, we can count. He's reliable.
Yeah.
I think being a CIO there's a reliability, there's accountability, there's an ownership. There's also, you're a caretaker, you're a caregiver, you're a care provider. And I think that's forced me to being a parent, right? You're raising a herd of next generation talent.
Yeah. Big responsibility.
And it's huge. It is apparent to a multitude of personalities, scenarios, situations, things that you can't foresee. So it teaches you really to be a better person. The Jack Nicholson line, you make me be a better man. I think it makes me a better man that I'm in this role, because I actually have to learn and understand people's sometimes shortcomings, opportunities, training, growth. You're a counselor, you're a friend, you're a provider, you're an acquaintance, you're a mentor, you're a teacher, you're an advocate.
Yeah.
The things you didn't get in school, they don't teach you these things in school. They just teach you about, X, Y, Z, solve a problem. Here's how we do things. But there's a lot of leadership books out there. I think I've learned by osmosis. I've been forced into the fire. And so I've had to take a step back too as well, and really look at it from a practical perspective. There's some people who are very successful, who are really good at this job.
Yeah.
And, I want to be like that.
That's cool.
So I think for me, it's, the best part is I get to get a lot of exposure to a lot of different people who've done a lot better than I have right now. And I hope I can get to that level and obtain that level in the next part of my career, basically.
That's awesome, man. It's kind of cool that, I know a lot of those CIOs 25 years and they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
They're very approachable. They're very generous with their time.
Yeah.
So because they know it's a long job.
And another thing too is the best part also, I think this is the fun part, the cold calls that I get.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
I was one of those people who make those calls.
So
I understand them.
Yeah.
I know where they're coming from. So I do take the time to at least talk to a good portion of them, saying, wow, tell me about what you're doing, because they're paid for that. And then they're young, they're looking to get their foot in the door. They're doing sales calls for their reps. So I've been in that part. Really the worst job I ever had.
First time
that
I ever heard. You know what? I've been in business development professional for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what you just said.
And
It means a lot.
And I'll tell you what, my really first job right out of college, I worked for a healthcare company. I was cold calling for the insurance sales reps.
Setting up meetings?
Meetings, yes. And I had the list at night from 6 to 10 to call. So I know where they're coming from. And a lot of calls I do take, some calls I don't take.
Sure.
But I at least try to give them a minute or so to make their pitch.
So you have a little bit of
I have a soft spot for that, because I've been on that side of the call. So I can, it's relatable, right? And I think the one thing about our job that you asked about, it's the most high part. There's a lot of relatabiliness to it, because people have come up in different ranks, the consultant on that side of the call,
For sure.
The cold call coming in from either your phone or your email or your work phone.
Yeah.
Do you have 5 minutes to talk about this? Okay, what do you want to talk about? And, some days you give it to them, some days like, hey, it's not a good time, can you call back? If I took every call, I'd get nothing done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But, and I think the last thing for me is, I think people get to know me is I wear it on the sleeve. I'm a very straight. You think you've seen me in some of my meetings. I'm very straight. I tell it matter of fact. I've actually asked my partners, what is it about our relation that you like? And they say, you're a straight shooter. You give it to us straight. There's no sugarcoating. You know what you want and you expect that from us. So we like that. There's no incongruencies. There's no hemming and hawing. There's no guessing.
Who you are, right?
You know where we are. You know what we need to do to get success. And you lay it all out there. So if we can't meet that mark, that's on us. And I think that's fair because it doesn't it doesn't waste their time.
Yeah.
They know what they're going to come into.
Yeah, it's not a secret.
Not a secret. Yeah. But
let me tell you, man, you did a wonderful job.
You made it easy for me. Thank you so much. Man. One thing I do want to put into this, if we can, is the transparency matters. And so, like I said, I share updates to my entire organization, technology. I have Broward. I have an IT distribution list that goes out, and I copy everybody, even CIOs in Miami Beach, of what's going on. And Palm Beach County. Whether they respond or not, I'm doing a good thing because I'm sharing what's going on. It matters. No.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's cool, man.
This is what we see.
That's got to be different.
It is. No one's used to that. We all say in our industry, what are you guys doing? Okay, here it is.
Yeah. And you guys, if you think about it, you're all in the same team.
I was at a conference last year and we were all talking about the challenges we've had for the years. I'm like, we're saying the same problems we've said for the last 15 years. We should have solved this by now. Why are we having this conversation? You vendors behind me, you've made a lot of money on these things.
Yeah.
Help us take this, dust off those old BPR books and move us forward. Basically, we have all the data.
Yeah.
Let's just make it better. And when you speak in that kind of plain language, it takes people aback. But I'm being kind and telling you truth.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not a surprise.
Yeah.
It's like, we know these problems. We've been doing multi-factor for generations. We've been doing vulnerability assessments for generations. We've been doing BPR. BPR, I think, is a old methodology, but it works for some people, right? We have to do these things and budgeting and procurement, all these fun things. There has to be a better way to build things going forward. The tried and true may have worked in the last 10 years, but for where we're going now, take the best of those things and repackage it for making things better, basically.
That's good.
And I think that's where I'm a little bit different than most CIOs. I'm not afraid to speak it like that. That's why I'm never on panels. No, they say it'd be great theaters. Well, I know because
you got to invite me next time you all want.
I was on an AI panel. It was wonderful because I think it's fun because I think, as CIOs, you just come out and say it. I don't want to be, there's an artful way of saying it and there's the right way of saying it. But, there's the messaging, as I was saying earlier, about the room, content, how you deliver it, the framing matters. But we're all asked to solve these problems. They don't go away, cybersecurity, vulnerability management, threat assessments, disaster recovery, business continuity plans, all this stuff we've known for years, right? But our role now is up here now. We have to be business transformation, business architects.
Yes.
The days of day-to-day activity, that's what the staff gets to handle now, right? We need to elevate ourselves up, but still maintain that, understand that business model, but it's changing. So it's going to be a fun time, but I want to thank you for having me.
Oh man, this was great. Thank you.